Early on a Saturday in July, a group of 6,400 riders set out to bike all the way from Seattle to Portland, and I was one of them.
Hi, I'm Bob Seversal. I'm in Seattle, Washington, and we're going to ride the 2026 Seattle to Portland ride. Let's have some fun.
The first thing I did was drop my overnight bags off at the correct truck, so they'd be waiting for me in Centralia. In addition to the 6,400 riders, there were some 500 volunteers who worked to make sure all the logistics of a big multi-day event ride were taken care of. On big rides like the STP, there's a camaraderie amongst everyone, and we looked out for each other along the way.
You're welcome.
The section along Lake Washington was beautiful, as the water in the lake was calm and reflective. The first rest stop was at the IKEA in Renton, which had some special treats. This was my second ever STP, and training for it this year was different, as I was riding without my longtime friend and training partner Nick, who was unavailable to do the event. It took a lot more effort to find the willpower to wake up early on weekends to do the training rides, but I was able to use a lot of the routes that Nick had saved for us in years past, which were highly useful. I also supplemented my training with bike commuting and doing 2 workouts each week at the gym to build up my core strength. This year, the STP was sold out, and I definitely noticed the difference at the Puyallup rest stop, having to wait 30 minutes in line just to use the porta-john. Right outside Puyallup was the steepest climb on the STP, a 7.1% max grade in multiple steps over about 2.5 miles or 4 kilometers. After finishing the series of climbs, it was quite refreshing to ride through a spray mister set up by some locals. The halfway point for day 1 was the rest stop in Spanaway.
All right, we're about halfway through day 1 in Spanaway. I've done about 54 miles, still feeling pretty good. I'm gonna go get some food now.
Back on the road, the next destination was Joint Base Lewis McChord. The STP is well supported, and even though there are plenty of rest stops to choose from, it might be best to skip a few so you're not spending all your time resting. I'd recommend creating a strategy and choosing which rest stops you think you will need to use. I stopped at the McKenna rest stop for a little pick-me-up before continuing on my way. Passing through the city of Yelm, we rode onto the Yelm-Rainier-Tenino Trail, which is a nice change of scenery as a corridor surrounded by trees. The Yelm-Rainier-Tenino Trail runs along the former route of the Prairie Line, operated by Burlington Northern Railroad starting in 1869. The rail line was abandoned in 1986 and converted into a trail that opened in 2005. Sometimes you are forced to take a rest break, so I took the opportunity to drink some extra water while this train passed by. Enjoying one last spray mister, we reached the end of day 1 at Centralia College. I think a majority of riders stayed in Centralia for the night, and there was a festive atmosphere at the day 1 finish. I had a little trouble finding my overnight bags, as one had lost its tag in transit, but I was able to recover it before long, and I got to work setting up my tent on the Centralia College campus lawn.
Okay, I finished day 1, feeling really good about that. Set up my tent. I'm really tired, so I'm probably gonna take a shower, get some food, and take a nap.
Waking up from my nap, I was really craving ice cream, and I wanted to keep my leg muscles limber so they wouldn't be sore in the morning. So I took a 2-mile round-trip walk to get a nice treat, and a second dinner. Waking up for day 2, I headed to the breakfast buffet line at the college, but it was really long, so I opted for coffee and a muffin at a coffee shop. Back outside, everyone was taking down their tents to get an early start to the day.
Alright, it's day 2 of the STP, and if everything works out, I'll be in Portland, Oregon. Let's do this.
Turns out it was a good idea to do that walk for ice cream, as my legs felt pretty good to start the day. The segment between Napavine and Eveline is the highest point on the STP, at around 464 feet or 141 meters of elevation. The Vader taters were so worth it. Plus, we were entertained by a farm dog who really loved belly scratches. When doing a ride like the STP, it's important to remember the pace you trained at and try to stick to it. It's easy to try to catch faster riders and use up all of your energy too quickly. Reaching Lexington, we arrived at the last major food stop of the ride.
Alright, I'm at the Lexington rest stop, which means I'm about halfway through day 2 of the STP. I'm gonna go get some food and refuel, but Oregon isn't far away.
A quick note to everyone who I saw on this ride. I have a hard time remembering names, so I apologize if I stared at you while my brain was trying to find the connection to your name.
Thank you.
Following the Cowlitz River, we entered the city of Longview, the last city we'd visit in Washington. Climbing and crossing the Lewis and Clark Bridge over the Columbia River and into the state of Oregon is always a highlight. After taking a quick break at the new Rainier, Oregon mini rest stop to drink some water and reapply sunscreen, it was time for some highway riding. The next 40 miles of the STP almost exclusively used United States Highway 30. It's affectionately named the Dirty 30, but in reality, it's a pain in the ass to ride, especially with those rumble strips. St. Helens had a welcome break from the Dirty 30, and it had a really important rest stop. Do not skip this one. I learned my lesson from my first STP in that I brought 2 water bottles instead of 1, and it worked. It really came in handy as the temperatures got above 80 degrees Fahrenheit or 27 degrees Celsius. The Scappoose mini stop was the last rest stop on the STP, and with 18 miles to go, so close to the finish. There's just something special about seeing that entering Portland sign after you've been riding for the past 195 miles. After crossing the St. John's Bridge, the last 9 miles through Portland's neighborhoods had a celebratory vibe, and the only thing left was to cross that finish line. Finishing the ride in Holiday Park, I had proven to myself that the first STP I did back in 2024 was not a fluke.
The 2026 Seattle to Portland ride is a wrap. I biked all the way from Seattle to Portland over the course of 2 days, and my legs still feel strong. My stomach is a little empty, so I'm gonna get some food, but I feel great. I had a blast. I hope you did watching this video. And if you're watching this, Miles, and other people, you need to join me for the 2027 RSVP. I'll be riding it. If you want to see more of my content, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you next time.